Turning to netball on the SportsMax zone, the last time the Barbados Gems won a match at the Netball World Cup was in 2011 against Malaysia, and they have participated in both editions since. In fact, they have competed in the last 6 iterations of the tournament. But having ended winless in 2015 and 2019, the Gems are hoping for much better results come the July 28 to August 6 tournament in Cape Town, South Africa. And to hopefully improve their results, they have turned to Pamela Tate-Hesson, a British coach with 30 years experience, first as an England performance pathway coach and more recently the head coach of the Dubai national team. Earlier this year, Hesson, whose father was born in Barbados, took over as technical coaching director. She joins us with an update on how the program is progressing. Pamela Tate-Hesson, it's a pleasure to have you on the SportsMax zone. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. Very well indeed.
You took over in February, early February. You started with the Barbados Gems. Give us an update on how things have gone.
Okay, so I actually started on the 5th of March. So I actually started in March. It's very challenging. But what I can say is that the things that I've put in place to try and help develop the team, the players have taken on. They're definitely showing an improvement in terms of fitness and in terms of their hunger for the game and things like that. So yeah, we're working hard. I had to do a lot of research to find out. Of course, obviously, I can't copy and paste things that we do in England and do them exactly the same in Barbados, but I can take some things from England and put them into the Barbados game to try and make them better, because they do have their own way of doing things, and I wouldn't want to change that. Not too much anyway.
Yeah, a number of things to speak about from that. I remember seeing the Barbados Gems at the qualifying tournament in Kingston last year. And one of the things I remember that they would play pretty well for short periods, but being able to sustain that over the course of an entire match was a massive issue for them. Have you identified yet why that was the case, and how have you started to go about correcting that going into the World Cup?
Okay, well, I think they needed a structure in place. So they needed a fitness structure in place, first of all, which is what I did in March. Along with the head coach, Denise Allen, we got hold of, working with our fitness coach, we got hold of a specialised strength and conditioning coach. And what we did was we trained them in March, we tested them at the end of March to benchmark them where they were. We tested them again in April and May, and you can clearly see by the data we've gathered the improvements. We just have to keep working at it. We just have to keep getting fitter and fitter. It's been a long time coming in terms of getting a structure. It's not going to be done overnight, but it will be there, and the girls are willing and able to do it.
Yeah, I think it's important that you point out it will not be done overnight, but there isn't a lot of time to go to the Netball World Cup. Barbados have not won a match at the tournament since they beat Malaysia in 2011. Based on the team that you took charge of in March, or you joined in March, how far along would you say that this team is in terms of getting into a stage where you will be able to win matches at the World Cup? First of all, you're in a pretty tough group. You have England, you have Scotland, you have Malawi. That's a tough group to be in. How far along are you think to be in a position to say that we'll be able to win matches at the World Cup?
Okay, whatever team you're going to play is going to be hard. We have a very tough group. But what we're going to do is, what I have seen from the girls is improvement. As I said, it's going to be challenging for them because I feel we have a long way to go. But what I can say is I'm hoping that we will see improvement when we play at the World Cup. And I feel we'll be able to challenge maybe one, maybe two of those teams. We will push them. But the development is there. It's just time really that we need. And yes, as you've said, we don't have that time, but we certainly have time to show improvement, and that is what we're going to do. We will, of course, go in with a winning mind. We want to win, and that's how we're going to go. And if we win, that's going to be fantastic. If we come close or whatever we do, as long as that improvement is shown, it means that we're on the right road.
Looking at the group that you're drawn in, which do you think will be your toughest opponent?
Sorry, could you say that again?
Looking at the group that you're drawn in,
yes.
the teams, which will be your toughest opponent?
Uh, well, obviously England is going to be the toughest opponent, obviously, and then Scotland have their coach with Tamsin Greenway, who I know very well, and she will have coached that team very well. Malawi will be a challenge, but England is going to be the toughest. Scotland, I think we can rival. Scotland also have had some problems, but they have got better because they've got a great coach in Tamsin Greenway, and she started with them over a year ago. But England, yes, definitely tough.
I know the names have not been issued, the team has not been named just yet. Will there, or can we expect to see a lot of players that took part in 2019 when the team is named?
I think you'll see one or two. I think you'll see one or two players. And as I said before, it's challenging because we have to look at things that need to be developed. The fitness, the strength and conditioning. The girls are doing very, very well with it, and they are working hard, and that's all I can ask for them. And they have got full heart and full commitment to go ahead and go for a win. So that's what we're looking for.
Yeah. Pamela, when I watched the America's World Cup qualifying tournament in Kingston last year, one of the things that disappointed me, and not necessarily from a Barbados standpoint, but just overall a regional standpoint, I was quite disappointed with the technical ability that I saw from a number of the teams. Since you've been in Barbados, what do you make of the technical ability of the players, not just in the senior program, but all round?
Well, again, there are a lot of things that are challenging about Barbados netball. There are a lot of things that are challenging, not just about Barbados, but about Caribbean netball in general. So I don't think we can pin anything down to Barbados, but what we can say is, with me coming in and other things happening and things being put in place, change is happening. People are looking at things differently. They are committed to doing well. And what I want is determination and the commitment. Once you've got that, you can go forward with anything. But in general, the Caribbean have to look at the technical ability, their movement and their passing. And that will come. Jamaicans have become very good at it, and it's up for the rest of us to follow. But in general, Caribbean islands, the technical ability, it is challenging, but it's something, again, that the girls have absolutely phenomenal speed. They have phenomenal ability in the air, or rather agility. Now we have to add those other things to it, and they will become a good team. I absolutely believe they will.
Yeah, I think you're spot on about the movement and the passing, and maybe that also comes back to the lack of fitness. And maybe someone would say to me, you're being a little bit harsh because last year's tournament would have come on the back of COVID-19 and many of the players not getting the opportunity to play at a high level for a long time. But here's another one. I remember having a conversation with the Barbados Netball president at around the time when you would have been announced as the technical director of the program, and one of the questions I put to her was the timeline and how long you would be expected to stay. Now, as you have rightly pointed out, this is not an overnight project, but as far as I know, at least initially, there is a timeline, a timestamp on how long you're going to be with the Barbados team. What sort of conversations have you been having with the president to say, listen, this is not going to happen overnight, and regardless of what happens at the World Cup, this is something that needs to continue if, of course, you are willing to stay on beyond that?
Yeah. Well, as I said, my family's from Barbados. Unfortunately, my parents have passed, but their Bajans are very, very proud. So this would be a great proud moment for my dad if he was here today. In terms of going forward, yes, we're in talks. I'm really not at liberty to say because I actually haven't made any sort of confirmed anything yet, but we are in talks. What we've set in place so far, we've set in place a level 1, which they never had before. So they've got a coaching level 1. So what I'm leaving is that we're going to have qualified coaches, quite a few qualified coaches, to be able to deliver whatever programs I write. So that is sort of a bit of the legacy that we'll leave. So we'll leave things in place for coaching, things in place for the schools, and things in place for organisations to work in partnership. that's just the beginning. And as I said, for the future, we're in talks about that.
Yeah, I know that funding is a big part of it, but I maintain 6 months, it's good to get started, but it's not enough to achieve what really needs to be achieved. And I'm sure the entire Barbados Netball is looking at that and seeing how they will be able to keep you on. And I'm sure corporate Barbados will come on board and ensure that you're well taken care of. Pamela Tate-Hesson, it's been a pleasure speaking with you, and we wish you and the Barbados team all the very best. We look forward to that squad being announced next week, and we look forward to how you will do at the World Cup in July and August.
Thank you very much. And we are so much looking forward to it as well. And we hope we do Barbados proud. They will see an improvement, and that's what we want them to see, because that is the first step on the ladder.
All right. Thank you very much. Pamela Tate-Hesson, Technical Director, Barbados Netball. We take a break. We'll be back with more.